So my first World of Warcraft character was a Tauren Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back in the day where you had to have ammo for your guns and your crossbows and your bows and arrows and stuff. Back in the good old days. So you'd be like, I have poison bullets or I have regular bullets. And it was pretty dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Anyway, there are no Taurens in the Warcraft movie. My second character was a Blood Elf Warlock. There are no Blood Elves in the Warcraft.
Well, was your third character an orc?
No.
Oh.
I didn't play an orc for quite a while.
Well, I didn't play any of them, so...
Anyway, welcome to Screen Weens, the only podcast to ever...
exist.
I like how I said ever, and my webcam got really blurry.
Ah!
I'm fading out of existence.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant on the webcam.
Well, I was. I'm mostly back now. Yeah. Now it just looks like I need glasses. Yeah, everybody, welcome back to Screen Weens. My foot is still broken. Got a cast on 2 days ago. Yesterday. It's pretty bad. I'm in a pretty bad mood. But you know what made me in a better mood? Watching movies and talking to my buddy Thomas. So
Hey.
Today's episode was movies that Pierre picked. And he picked Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior, and Warcraft. Actually, to be fair, he gave us 4 options, and those were the 2 we picked.
Yep.
And those are... they're probably the better of the 4 options.
What were the other 2 options?
Freaky Friday, but the 2018 one.
I didn't even know they did
Yeah, you said that last time, too. And then 9 Lives with Kevin Spacey.
Oh, yeah.
Which that was just like a dead on arrival. Like, we were not going to pick that one.
No, we both
I'm
worked at the theater.
saving it for the Kevin Spacey deep dive.
Oh, yes. Because,
I saw the ending to that movie. I walked in on it.
I didn't see the ending, but I definitely peeked in a time or two because that was back before Kevin Spacey was revealed to be Kevin Spacey. Yeah. So it was like he still kind of had some buzz as an actor.
Like, woohoo!
I was like, whoa! And I looked in and I was like, he's playing a cat. What the fuck? His agent fucked up.
No, that's... I can't wait for Adam Driver to get to the point in his career where he plays a cat.
Yeah.
A dog.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun for a gag, but, like, I don't know. As long as he's not doing that thing that, like, actors do where they fucking, like, oh, we're gonna sign this big actor to the fucking little piece of shit movie, and they're gonna make the entire budget, and, yeah, it's basically like a fucking... Bruce fucking Willis did it for years before he retired. There's countless other actors who did... Nick Cage did it for a little bit, but...
Yeah. Because he spent all his money on dinosaur bones.
Yeah. Hmm.
But he's back, baby.
He is back.
Cage is back. Well, I'm really not excited for Renfield. I mean, I'm excited. I feel like I'm just going to be kind of sad the whole time. I'm like, man, I wish this was a real Dracula movie.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe he'll give it his all regardless.
Well, yeah, no, I think he'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
He always gives it his all.
Oh, yeah.
Even in the worst things I've seen.
That is true.
Or at least he does something.
Yeah. Typically, from what I've seen. But...
yeah, but before we talk about the epic picks Pierre gave to us, we're going to be talking about the rest of our week. Thomas has been watching movies. What the hell?
I watched a few. Only one I hadn't seen. But,
that's okay.
Yeah.
What'd you watch?
So I rewatched Magnolia.
Such an incredible movie.
It is.
Remember when we had a 5-hour podcast on PTA?
Oh, yeah. It was a hot summer day, I remember, because, like, the second that ended, I was so happy, because it was like, we just did a 5-hour PTA episode, and I was like, now I can turn on the fan. We did it over Discord. I remember that. Yeah.
That was classic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a classic.
We were so young.
We were like...
22, probably.
Probably something like
pretty
that.
Pretty young. I feel like I'm pretty different.
Yeah, I feel like I've changed a lot since then.
Yeah, gotten hotter.
Oh, thanks, you too.
Damn.
But let's see. So I rewatched Magnolia, then I rewatched Enemy, and then Prisoners. Fucking
Enemy.
Classic.
Those
I can't.
are both good. I haven't. I've only seen The Enemy the one time, but I think I've rewatched Prisoners like semi-recently. I think within like the last year. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like I was talking about it not too long ago. Okay, it was a year and a half ago.
Okay. Yeah, you weren't far off. But
oh wait, it was when we did the deep dive. I thought I had watched it since then, but I guess not.
Yeah, I guess we did do that on the deep dive, didn't we? But yeah, freaking still a masterpiece. Still a masterpiece. And then I saw Miller's Crossing for the first time. And Coen Brothers.
Yeah. I almost, what's funny is I just watched a movie, but it was between that movie and I almost watched Blood Simple, which I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
But that would have been really funny if I'd been like, and I just watched the Coen Brothers.
Hey.
How was Miller's Crossing?
It was really fucking good. Like, honestly, low-key, I'd have to watch it again, but out of what I've seen, it might be my favorite Coen Brothers.
Jesus.
Like,
okay.
I really liked it.
Well, it's like Coen Brothers, everything I watch by them, I'm like, I really like that. And then I just kind of don't watch anything by them for a while.
Yeah,
and then
I do the same thing.
Then I watch them, like, why am I not watching these movies more frequently?
Yeah, they're insanely consistent, and they pump them out. Like, they have a shit ton of movies, so it's like, fucking, it's almost daunting sometimes. We could probably, like, if we wanted to, do, like, 4 deep dives on them and still have extra content. Well, maybe not that much, but yeah, they're fucking good. But yeah, that was really good. I don't know the name of the star in it, but he's the dad in Hereditary. And I haven't... Oh. He's also in The Usual Suspects. I haven't seen him in a whole lot, but he was
great.
He was really good. And so was Albert Finney. Pretty much the whole cast was great. Fucking Jonathan Turturro, is that his name?
John Turturro, yeah.
Yeah, he does like a Charlie Chaplin-esque kind of thing in the movie. It's interesting.
Gabriel Byrne is who you're thinking of.
Yes. Now I almost want to go out and watch some more Gabriel Byrne's movies.
I haven't seen it, but you've seen the Winona Ryder Little Women, right? Mm-hmm. He's the dad in that, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, I guess he is fucking...
Or he's one of the main characters in that. That's not one of the Little Women.
Yeah. The dad's hardly in that movie, so it's like...
My Little Women.
Yes. But... freaking... And we watched Dark Angel.
Yeah, we watched a full moon movie together. What did you think of it?
I thought it was good. I thought it was probably about Empire quality. So that speaks a lot for full moon movies.
Yeah. No, I really that went up in my rank. I just really like I think it has some really intriguing like world building to it. Mm-hmm. And I like the 2 leads in it. I think especially for a full moon movie, I'm like, these are engaging people.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
And I feel like it wears its budget on its sleeve in like a nice kind of charming way.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a lot of fun. And if anyone hasn't seen it, I'd say even like general audience members would probably find it watchable. Yeah. It might not be their favorite thing, but it was good.
Yeah. But if you love Full Moon, it's gonna be like the best movie you've ever seen, bro.
Unless you really like what you get out of Full Moon, in which case this might be your least favorite Full Moon movie.
You're right. You're like, what do you mean?
That's not a Full Moon movie.
Competently written women?
What? Yeah.
Not in my house.
Right. But, yeah. And that was all I watched this week. Well, that and Warcraft and Wendy Woo.
I watched Evil Bong.
I know, you texted me.
I almost watched more, but then I was like, I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I will watch more.
Yeah.
Just not right now.
That's fair.
Not the worst thing. It's definitely better than probably like 20 of the Full Moon movies.
No, yeah. When I was like 14, I actually was like, oh fuck. So I went out to Walmart and found the other like 10 movie packs that the 2 Evil Bond sequels that existed at the time were on. And the second one's not as good as the first one, but it's not quite at that point where it's like so far down. But I think by the third one, I was like, all right, I've had my fill.
Yeah, I think on its own. I think the main thing with one that I think is missing is I need the main character, that like nerd guy. He's nothing. I was like, this movie could have really worked if it was like a Jeffrey Combs-esque, like, kind of weirdo nerd man.
Yeah. Eventually it shifts to the...
Well, yeah, he's only in the first one.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's just the stoner dudes in the sequels.
Yeah.
Which they have a decent, like, rapport with each other. I'm like, this is watchable. It's weird. Pretty bad, but...
Well, yeah. Yeah. It's not in anybody's top stoner comedy list, that's for sure.
I'm sure it is, actually.
Yeah, it probably is.
Most people that have top stoner comedy lists...
Well, I
probably love this movie.
Maybe. I feel like the quality might be a little...
Okay, Thomas, top 3 stoner comedies, go.
I mean, it'd probably be like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Probably be like Cheech and Chong. And honestly, all 3 of them would probably be Cheech and Chong movies.
What about Pineapple Express?
I mean, Pineapple Express
I've
is
seen
funny.
half of that movie, and I thought it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the whole thing, but I was like, whoa, what's happening?
No, yeah, that's...
Is that David Gordon Green?
It might be.
He's weird. He's doing an Exorcist.
No, I'm aware.
Thing.
I'm not really excited.
Yeah. I'm like, I think Halloween had enough like that you could explore. I'm like, Exorcist seems like a property that you don't really like. What are you gonna explore there?
No, Exorcist. I mean, you could explore like some of the Legion stuff, I guess, but it'd be really loose to kind of like. I mean, you could still connect it to the Exorcist brand, I guess, but it'd be a far. Most people haven't seen 3, so it's like fucking most people have only seen the original, which is the only one that I mean. I think 1 and 3 are both good, but it's like I don't know.
Paul Schrader did 4, or like Prelude, whatever it's called.
I don't know which version he did, because I know the thing I know about 4 was it was shot pretty much finished, and then like the fucking guy, I think they released it, and then like the studio was like, no, we need to like. I think here's what happened. I think behind the scenes before they released it, the studio was like, we need to have a director come in and redirect like this movie, and they released it like that, and it tanked. So they were like, why don't we just re-edit what the original director did and see how that works? And then that one also tanked. So there's like 4 and 5 are like 2 different versions of the same movie. It's weird, but yeah, just watch Exorcist 1 and 3. That's all you need. I've heard good, actually surprisingly decent things about that TV show that ran for like 2 seasons.
Oh, okay.
But I have not watched it, so I cannot verify. But
so it seems like Exorcist. I don't think so. Exorcist 5 is Dominion prequel to The Exorcist, which is, I think, that's the one by Paul Schrader. I'm pretty sure that's the original cut. And they looked at it and then they didn't release it, it seems. And then they released instead Exorcist The Beginning, which is directed by Rennie Harlan, who did, I think he did like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 or something. He did he did some sequels to things.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
I see.
So interesting. Now I kind of want to watch them both to see.
It's an interesting kind of case study. I've only seen one of them, and it was when I was a kid. So
we'll eventually watch all of them. Probably around Halloween this year. We'll be like, we gotta watch another.
Probably when the new ones come out. I'm sure we'll. Oh shit! I'm sure we'll probably watch them, but. Well, let's save it for that or something. I don't know. But I love the first and third one. They're both good.
But yeah, Evil Bong.
Yes.
Stoner Con. I'm like, where the fuck did we go?
That's true.
I rewatched John Wick 3 because Hinata hadn't seen that. We were going to go see John Wick 4. I really like all the John Wick movies. I really like 3. I think it's great.
I never saw it.
Yeah. We saw John Wick 4. I think it's incredible.
Yeah?
I think it's awesome. Donnie Yen's in it, and he's amazing. It's 3 hours long.
Oh, wow.
And there's... It's insane. If you don't like just a ton of action, you're probably not going to love it. But even the action that is there, you're going to be like, what the fuck? It's pretty great. I think it's easily the best John Wick movie. I think it's awesome.
Okay.
I watched a movie called Bad Words, which is a 2013 comedy that fucking Jason Bateman directed. He finds a loophole in a spelling bee competition and joins it as an adult.
This sounds vaguely familiar.
It's pretty fucking stupid. I'd heard decent things about it, but it's just stupid. And it's like a lot of offensive jokes, but they're also just not funny. I'm just like, just make funny jokes.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. But, it wasn't bad. I finally got around to watching Brian Yuzna's Society.
Oh, yeah.
It rules. Criterion Channel had a an 80s horror thing going on, and I've been and I think it's leaving at the end of the month, so I've been trying to go through a bunch of that, and I watched that, and it was fucking awesome. There's some really cool body horror and gore stuff at the end, but it's also just a pretty intriguing mystery that's being unraveled at the beginning. If you have time, you should watch it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've got it on a DVD double feature with Spontaneous Combustion, so fucking I'll probably check it out at some point.
And it was I was kind of this might be bad because I don't really like Reanimator 2.
Yeah,
he did that, and it seems but I kind of want to watch a couple of his other stuff. He did a movie called The Dentist. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
I saw it when I was real young,
but I heard that one's pretty decent.
Yeah, did he do the sequel to The Dentist?
He did The Dentist 2, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And he did an adaptation of Faust as well that I do want to watch, even though I've heard it's pretty bad because who is in it? Someone's in it that I'm like, I need to see them as that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've seen some interviews with him and stuff, but that was primarily just...
Oh, it's not him, but Jeffrey Combs is one of the leads in Faust.
But most of the stuff I've seen with interviews for Brian Yuzna have been for, is there going to be a Reanimator for it? Probably not, but...
No.
I would love it, even if it was bad.
That's fair.
Because I love the third one, even if it's bad.
Beyond the Resonator.
I don't.
Does that not count?
No, it's not. It's not the Combs.
West is in it.
It's got to be the Combs man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
David Gordon Green, get on the Weird Legacy sequel.
Yeah, because what's it called? They almost did one in the Bush era that was going to be called House of Reanimator, where he was going to
run for president.
No, he was going to invade the White House and end up doing his usual shtick to the president or something. I don't know.
That's good.
But yeah.
Okay, last 3 movies I watched. I watched Pitch Perfect for the first time in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I like weird jukebox musicals. I think that movie's pretty funny, and I think the music sequences are fun. I think it's pretty good. I think the thing that I was looking at the entire time... Have you seen Pitch Perfect?
No.
Okay. Skylar Astin is one of the leads in it. And the way he acts in that, and even the way he looks, I'm like, this guy should have played Shazam over Zachary Levi. I think he's got the cadence down, and I also think he seems a lot more similar to the kid who plays young Billy Batson. So I was like, man. But yeah, that was a fun little rewatch. And then I watched Amateur with Isabelle Huppert.
Did we watch that one?
No.
Okay.
You should watch it, though. It is fucking crazy. It's by a director called Hal Hartley, who I've heard good things about. I just hadn't seen anything from him. I think his most known movie is one called Trust. But Yeah, it seems like I should watch some of those stuff. But it's about, like... Isabelle Huppert plays, like, an ex-nun who left the order and she writes pornography for a living, but she's never had sex. So she's, like... And she makes it too romantic. And she meets a guy who fell out of a window onto his head and he doesn't remember anything. And this gets into, like, light spoiler territory, but...
I think I remember you telling me about this movie at one point.
I hadn't heard about this movie.
I thought you said you rewatched it.
No, I watched it for the first time.
Oh, okay. This concept sounds vaguely familiar.
Maybe I had said something, maybe when we were talking about Isabelle Huppert, I was like, oh, but I don't remember, like, even knowing about this movie. But yeah, I guess light spoiler territory. It turns out this guy was, like, a bad dude, but he has no, like, memory of this, and there's, like, some interesting ideas on, like,
okay,
does that make this person a bad person? Does that make this person the same person? And, like, one of the other, like, main characters is the woman that, like, that he abused for, like, her entire life, and, like, it's really interesting. But Hal Hartley has this, like, insane amount of control over tone, because it's, like, really serious pretty much all the time, but it's also really funny. Like, there's a lot of, like, almost slapstick humor in it. A guy gets, like, electrocuted and kind of goes crazy and just starts, like, running around town, like, punching women and, like, like, what's happening?
Yeah, I'd say the same thing about Miller's Crossing. Like, that movie's very serious, but of course it's a comedy. Yeah. So it has bits of comedy. But there were some parts where I was like, this is, like, a very serious, tense moment, but then they're making me laugh because, like... Alright, this is a spoiler for one scene, but he gets into, like... He's got to brawl, like, one guy, and he's, like... It's, like, the big guy from, like, Dumb and Dumber. And he ends up just, like, sneakily smashing a chair against the guy's face, and the dude just, like... Instantly is like... What the fuck, dude? Like... And it's great, but there's shit like that throughout. But anyway...
But yeah, if you have time, I like both Amateur? That and Society. I was like blown away by. Yeah, Amateur.
Okay,
and they're both like an hour and a half. They're both like shorter movies. Okay. And then just now I watched my first Lucio Fulci movie.
Oh, which one?
I watched The House by the Cemetery.
I have not seen that one.
Which I didn't realize was part of like a. Not like necessarily, more like a thematic trilogy with The Beyond and...
Yeah, I really want to watch The Beyond. I have the Blu-ray for that
Gates of something.
I think it's City of the Dead, isn't it?
City of the Damned, maybe? City of the Dead. Oh my God.
Yeah. I might be getting that mixed up with...
City of the Living Dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but House by the Cemetery was on Criterion, and I watched it, and, it's not amazing, but I really enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Yeah, Lucio Fulci's kind of interesting. I find a lot of his stuff to be like very gory, but also a little on the bland side a lot of the time when I watch his work. But he's obviously done stuff I've liked.
Zombie 2. I haven't seen it.
I think Zombie 2 is a little bland, if I'm being
honest. Oh no! There's always the hope in my head that I'm like, what if I like Zombie 2? And I'm like, this is way better than fucking. It's Dawn of the Dead. Is that what it was?
Yeah, because Dawn of the Dead was called
unofficial.
Zombie there. So it's technically an official sequel because it's. I mean, in terms of like the Italian public, because I mean like.
There's Zombie 3 that he did too.
There's technically 5. There's the 5th one. It gets into like bird shit or something. Like it's called like Zombie 5: The Birds or some shit like that.
No, then that's actually a sequel to The Birds.
Probably.
They tie in.
Yeah, but
not to be confused with The Birds 2.
Yeah, because I think I might be wrong on this. I think Dario Argento produced Zombie 2. And
I wouldn't be surprised.
And Goblin does like the score and stuff, so it's just a different branch of the ever fucking encompassing Living Dead timeline that's of sequels and spin-offs and remakes. There's so many of them. It's ridiculous. I could do a whole fucking rant on them. I might do a ranking list at some point, but that's a lot of movies to go through because there's like...
Oh, no, I don't think Dario Argento did.
Oh, huh. So it might not be... I don't know if it's considered an official sequel or not then, but... I mean, it's called Zombie 2, so
anyway,
it must be.
House by the Cemetery is pretty good. I like the gore in it. I like most of the acting. There's a child actor in it, and he's a kid that he was also in, I think, Demons. And he's a lot, but he's fun. It's fun to watch him. He has fun, like, facial expressions and stuff. But yeah, I think that movie was really fun too. And it's a nice, I love, like, oh, we're moving to a small town, and oh, we're living in this quiet little house, or I guess it's a mansion that they live in, but it was like, it's been abandoned for years, or oh, someone died, and it's like, nah, eat that shit off. It's like, is there someone else in the house? Yeah, it's fun. I like the score in it. Like, it just feels it kind of made me sleepy. Because it's kind of like a sleepy little horror movie. Like one that you're curled up in a blanket by the fire. I love the tones that, like, movies can evoke in not just, like, the movie itself, but kind of in the environment around you, Like, it's like I watch a movie and I'm like, man, I wish it was raining right now. You ever get one of those? It's like, man, I wish it was kind of cold and it was raining outside.
Just throw on the YouTube 8-hour video in the background. Just like, all right.
Yeah, in general, I had a pretty awesome week for movies. Well, that I didn't watch for the podcast.
What?
I will say, I think one of these movies is substantially, maybe not substantially, but better than the other one.
What? These are both master.
And knowing who I am, it's probably easy to tell what I'm going to say is better.
Yeah, I'm aware. And I can already see some of your points, and I agree.
But yeah, let's check for you. Did you do anything else this week?
No, just that stuff.
Ooh, I did start reading Superman Lost. That's a series that just started. Where Superman goes on, like, kind of a routine thing, but then gets, like, blasted off into space. And even though it only he's gone for, like, a couple of hours for, like, Lois Lane, when he gets back, she's like, oh, that was fast. How are you? And he's like, what? I've been gone for 20 years. I think I mentioned it a couple months ago, but first issue came out, and it's pretty good. It's a lot of setup for the first one, but I'm kind of glad, because I was thinking it was going to be like in a little, like, 5-issue mini, but it's going to be 10, which I think is, like, a good amount to tell, like, a fun story. So, and it seems like they're really taking the time to set up things. I think a lot of 5-issue runs I'll read, and I'm like, oh, that ended too quickly.
Yeah, no, you want to go.
I'm pretty pumped for that. No questions from Pierre.
For his very own episode? Looks like he missed out. Well, I guess we can just jump straight into talking about Wendy Wu.
Homecoming Warrior.
Yeah.
Pretty good. No, not pretty good. But it's
a decent Disney Channel original, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's kind of bad, but, like, it's mostly filmed in New Zealand, and watching it, you can tell it has very similar, like, Power Rangers vibes, because the choreographer was the choreographer for Power Rangers. A lot of the like extras and a lot of, like, the side characters in this are just Power Rangers actors. So, like, watching it, I think this movie's bad. And I don't think I enjoyed it in general, but I couldn't hate it because I'm like, it's just kind of watching, like, a bad Power Rangers movie. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm in.
I can see it.
I think that in general, I find the humor in Power Rangers a little more funny than I do this movie, because I don't think this movie's very funny. And it also doesn't really feel like it knows where it's going. Like, it's like an hour and a half, and I'm like, they're just going. They're just meandering around with no real concept of where they're going here. It feels like Wendy Wu wanted to be a show, and then it wasn't.
Yeah,
it feels like the setup for different things is like, oh, this would be a fun little episode.
Like a pilot movie kind of thing. Yeah, because they did stuff like that with the Kid Channel movies all the time. I mean, Jimmy Neutron's my case in point example. Because they had the shorts, and then it was the movie, and then they did the fucking TV show.
And that's why I think Power Rangers in general usually excels in this category, is because it takes, like, a plot line that would be, like, this entire movie, and it's like, what if we put it in 20 minutes? Like, perfect. So there you go. Or a two-parter. Right. It's like, this feels like a two-parter in a show, and it's like, that's still, putting on an extra 40 minutes there.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not really doing anything with it.
Yeah, just a lot of high school stuff.
High school shenanigans. I will also say that I think this movie looks better than, like, the DComs from around this era. Not, like, substantially, but I'm like, I could see this being like, this was in theaters. I'm like, sure. I could see that. But, like, a limited run.
Yeah, probably.
Looks better than Warcraft. Well, we'll get to that. I have a lot of thoughts on Warcraft. So, as a quick run through on what happens in Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior. Brenda Song plays Wendy Wu, who is like a third-generation Chinese immigrant.
Something like that, yeah. Her grandmother was in China, and her mother has just no interest in it. Yeah. Neither did her father, and
neither does she. Yeah, she just wants to be homecoming princess.
Basically like a valley girl kind of archetype, like the popular at school kind of a mean girl. She's got like this weird passive aggressive thing that she does with her enemy throughout the movie, who is
I'm so happy for you,
Rachel.
Rebecca.
I think. Okay. But yeah, they're just, you're gonna make a great homecoming queen. Oh, thanks. Like, kind of shit. It's just, practically writes itself.
It probably did.
Yeah, I'm sure. But, so, meanwhile, this monk has come from China, and he's basically like, we're destined to basically fight in this battle together, because there's this
I will die.
Yes, and I die every time. I always sacrifice my life for you. But there's this reoccurring villain who we find out later keeps getting stronger every time he comes back. But he keeps popping up like every 90 years or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
So basically...
John Lowe? Is that his name? Something like that?
I think so. But yeah, he shows up and he starts possessing people, because he can just kind of transfer his essence from person to person. But then they can't talk. They're just going... Yeah. So, basically, he's accumulating power with this big green ball that looks like the thing from Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just going around and, I don't know, trying to kill Wendy Wu, but the monk...
Pretty bad at it.
Yeah, he's really bad at it, and the monk keeps, preventing it, or he'll just fuck up on his own. But yeah, Wendy Wu, she is very reluctant to become a kung fu trader because she thinks that her new monk friend is very lame and doesn't want to be seen around with him because she thinks it'll hurt her street cred in becoming homecoming.
Even though he can run at the speed of light and do backflips.
But then he
cool kung fu.
But then he changes his wardrobe and everybody thinks he's hot. And then they're like, she's like, oh yeah, I'll fucking train. And also, Rebecca ends up sabotaging her and telling the guidance counselor about her bad history grade. So she has to learn about, coincidentally, Chinese history in order to pass. So, thank goodness, the one subject she was failing.
Yeah. I think maybe the worst parts of that movie are trying to tie that stuff together. I'm like, that's not. That doesn't. I don't think it needs to be we need to do this so I can become homecoming princess.
And you know what I might have loved? If we had actually learned, you learn, a couple basic facts, he had these, statues,
the first warriors.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. I would have liked to maybe learn, I don't know, something about philosophy or their history, or I don't know, just something a little more in depth. But I guess I'm expecting a little much from a fucking 2000s Disney Channel original movie. But so basically he agrees to teach her Chinese history and to train her.
Yeah, he's double dipping.
So she, of course, takes him up on this offer. But oh no, all of the people who are supposed to train her, because he's got access to spirits who have guided her in the past. But they're all old, so they have to possess her modern teachers. And they show us every time it happens. There's a sequence where it happens 5 times in a row. And it's I don't need to see this again and again. And I could understand maybe once or twice, But once we're on the 5th time, it's like, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Just show the teacher showing up. I'll understand what happened. But they had to fill that 90-minute runtime, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she ends up developing a thing for the guy, even though she tells people that they're cousins.
I do think that's kind of funny. There's the part where it's like, hey, can I go dance with them? And she's like, actually, we're kind of together. The woman's just like, I thought you two were cousins. And she's like, oh, yeah. Right.
Distant cousins. No.
Sweet home Alabama. Dun, 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 dun.
That's where this movie takes place, right?
No, I think it's California.
Yeah, probably. But, yeah. Then the guy, like, possesses Rebecca, shocker, and that's almost his final form, but then they defeat that guy, and Brenda Song, then, like Goku in The Return of Cooler, brings back her dead loved one just by kind of using her super energy on him and brings him back to life. And then, then they beat up the statue of him, or he's wearing like a bunch of armor or something, but supposedly that's his true form, and they kick the shit out of him. And then they go for
a walk and it ends or something.
Cappuccino or something.
Yeah?
Cause, yeah, I don't know. The ending was very abrupt. I thought the ending probably, in that sense, was like the weakest point, because it's just like, he could have slapped on like some sort of an epilogue there, not just climax, okay, the end. But yeah, I don't know. This was okay. It was fine. I like the themes of like trying to connect with like your culture if you've been removed from it. Like, I like the dad's lines a lot when he was having that line about the moon cakes, and he's like, "But what's Wendy gonna get out of it?" Obviously, she gets everything out of it. But I don't know. I like that sentiment in the movie. I'd probably say that's probably like my favorite scene in the movie because of it. But
yeah, like I think this movie's bad, but like it's watchable. I like the themes. I just don't know if they're very well executed. I think the grandma's is probably the best character.
I can see it
because she's like the only one that has character, really.
Yeah.
Besides just like, no.
Yeah, and even then she's pretty stereotypical for like the wise grandmother type. So it's like, I don't know. It's fine. It's by the numbers. You start the movie, and you can, if you really wanted to, you can map out the rest of it.
Yeah.
But it's for children, so.
It's for children. It's also for Pierre.
Yeah, Pierre really likes this one, I hear.
Well, no, because he came in halfway through, and he said, I didn't remember anything from this movie, except the soccer ball.
It's a bomb-ass scene, I guess. But
yeah, like, what I will say is I think the music doesn't connect tonally with the scenes like ever. Like, they're having the fight scene in the house.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is happening? The music that's playing sounds like a DVD, like, startup screen that would be playing. Like, why is this playing? Which is funny because I don't think the choreography in the movie, I think, is like fine too. I thought that fight scene was in general like fine. I was like, why does it sound like this?
Yeah. She also does the Kamehameha wave at one point. It's a little more flowery, but that's definitely what it was.
Yeah.
Same pose and everything. But
yeah. I also think like Brenda Song, for being like a Disney Channel girl, was one of the more like talented actresses of this era, so I think she's like pretty good in this for playing like the role she's playing.
Yeah, she's basically just playing London 2.0 kind of with karate, but it works for what the movie wants to be.
I'd give this a 4, but it's fine.
I probably won't ever watch it again, but maybe you will.
Yeah. Maybe I'll probably like 10 years down the road I'll be like, I'm gonna watch all the decals.
Just wait till because Disney owns it, so Wendy Wu will one day be in the MCU and then become just an official Marvel character.
The grandma in this plays the grandma of the side character Katie in Shang-Chi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, maybe Wendy, Wu, and Katie are the same character.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Let's talk about Warcraft. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's like there is a sense of like I played World of Warcraft for a long time. And I played Warcraft 3 for a decent chunk of time. I like the lore of Warcraft. I like some of the lore of Warcraft. So I'm like, and the idea, if I had seen this in theaters, like when I was into movies, I'd be like, yeah, I'm pumped for that. It's the guy who made Moon making a Warcraft movie. Fuck yeah. Mm-hmm. The thing is, it sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's probably not the director's fault, maybe. I mean, some of it probably is, but I mean, this is kind of an ambitious project, so yeah. I could see.
But it also feels like the company behind it was like, no, we need to set up for more. Like it needs to be the first chapter or something. I think that's a bad idea.
Yes.
Also, because there are plenty of Warcraft things that you could make a movie of and have it be like feel complete, and then just make a different Warcraft. There's so much lore in Warcraft. Mm-hmm. Also, the lore for the humans in Warcraft has always been so fucking boring. And I think the human stuff in this is so fucking boring.
What?
I think in general, when the movie first started and we saw the works, like, that looks pretty good. I think in by itself, it looks pretty good until you see them next to anything. Like, oh. And I'm like, what if they just made a CG animated movie? Just with that animation. I'm like, that would have been fine.
Yeah. No, like, do, like, what every other fucking video game movie does. And just do a fucking CG movie.
But, yeah, when the humans are next to them, I'm like, holy shit. But when the humans are next to the dwarves look fucking atrocious.
What dwarves?
Do you not remember the dwarves?
I only saw real people in this movie.
The dwarves look horrific. The night elves look pretty bad too.
Yes,
but those are just like regular people with like, I think
a lot of CG on them. Yes,
like that kind of makes it worse. But honestly, I think the biggest thing that really annoys me is the fact that they made Garona just be played by a regular human.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I get that in the movie they make her half human, but what the fuck?
No, that was really jarring.
It's like I could get over, like, okay, the orcs and the humans look vastly different. They're obviously not on the same plane of existence. But I'm just like, but why does Garona look like that? Also, they made Garona's father in this the Wizard Man. In the original lore, if I remember correctly, those two are together. Which is really weird, because in general, I think this movie tries to be pretty accurate to, like, the lore. Probably to its detriment. It does not help it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, why did they make that change? Honestly, I know that they, like, set up Garona, like, at the end being, like, the killer. And I'm always like, I don't think Garona does a lot in this movie. I don't think most people do a lot in this movie. It just kind of feels like it's all over the place.
No, it's just a bunch of... I'd say the only one that I really felt any, like, major substance was happening was that...
Durotan? Or no?
Little wizard guy.
The little wizard man.
Yeah, like, he felt like he was the only character that was making, like, strides in progress, and even then, I didn't like his character.
Yeah, it was annoying.
So it was like, what's the point? But
in general, I like orc stuff in Warcraft, so the orc stuff I was, like, fine with.
I will say the one orc was probably, like, the most gripping thing from the whole movie.
Yeah, I also think, in general, I think the voice work for the orcs is pretty good. I think Durotan's voice is pretty good. There's a couple, like, heavy hitters that play, like, Gul'dan and, like, Blackhand and stuff. And I think, in general, if this was just an orc movie, I'd be like, that was kind of bad, but fun. But, because most of it, like, a decent chunk of it is human stuff. And I think the human stuff looks awful. Like, every time there's a scene, it's, like, really bad green screen or something. But it's like, this looks bad. And all the armor looks like, all the costuming looks like cosplay. Like, bad cosplay.
I'm just gonna straight up say it. This movie has BHE. Big Hobbit energy.
Yeah, and which is funny because it's doing the same thing The Hobbit did, where it's like, guys, we need to emulate the Lord of the Rings as closely as possible to make a shitload of money. But instead, it just looks shit.
Yeah, let's make it look shitty, and I guess maybe there's not padding. It all feels like plot. Like I'm just like watching a bunch of fucking plot.
It's all plot, but it's also like it's the way it's structured. Feels like it's completely inaccessible to people that aren't aware of Warcraft.
Yeah, no, I had no fucking idea what was going on.
No, I was watching it, I'm like...
Eventually...
I'm more familiar with World of Warcraft, which this takes place way before the events of World of Warcraft, so I'm like... But I'm familiar enough with the lore that I'm like, oh yeah, I think I remember this. So I was able to follow it pretty easily, but I was thinking like... Thomas must be, like, having a nightmare here. He must be like, what the fuck am I watching?
I was like, okay, orcs come in portal... One orc magic. Guy from The Hobbit also magic. He's in... I figured once, like, it got revealed to the characters that he was kind of like the person who opened the portal or whatever, it was like, okay, the film kind of started to pick up and pace a little bit, but I was still like, I don't know who any of these fucking I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's like, yeah, and it also has too big of an ensemble of characters to, like, be meaningful.
It's way too big of a story. Like, it just needs to be...
Also, it's not that long of a movie, so it's like 2 hours and, like, 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And it's just... And that's another thing is, like, you don't really get to sit with the characters. That's a big thing.
No, because every half hour there has to be a big bombastic action scene to wrap up that section of the
It's like, oh no, that guy, the lightning field is making that guy not see his son. His son's gonna die. The guy we've spent 1.5 scenes with. Oh no.
Yeah. And it's just a lot of, like, and then, like...
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's any good, like, cause and effect throughout the movie. It's just like, aside from the fact that the orcs come and it's like, we gotta do shit. But
I think that's one of the big things with, like, when you're adapting something like Warcraft, one of the things that fits so well in an MMO, I guess speaking of World of Warcraft, is that you can take the story at your own pace. Mm-hmm. Like, you do this, like, big bombastic quest and you're like, wow, I'm gonna go fishing. Like, you need, and I actually think, like, in a movie like this, you need those moments of reprieve. You need characters just living. Mm-hmm. You don't ever get that in this.
No.
That's why, like, stuff like James Cameron understands that. Like, when he makes Avatar 2, mm-hmm. you have long scenes where it's just, like, characters living, characters learning, you know, stuff like that. You don't ever get that. So you don't ever get a feeling for the characters in this. You don't, like, who they are, and you don't care about them.
Nope.
Even me, who I'm like, yeah, I think Durotan's awesome, going into the movie, I'm just like,
I had no context for his character.
Like, I think this movie's pretty terrible. I think I probably enjoyed it more than you, though, just because, like, I had an attachment to Warcraft, but...
And this movie, I wish the opening, because, like, normally I like movies that kind of just throw you into it, but, like, I desperately wanted some fucking exposition in the beginning of this movie, and I usually hate that shit, but... You know, you need to establish some shit for me, because I don't know anything. And it's just like, why is this one orc magic compared to the other ones? And why is he leading... Like, why? Like, why is this happening? She's pregnant? Oh, and what the fuck is happening? Like, I was just like, is that baby gonna be important later on? Like, also, it just gets Noed and Sargon down the river, like, in the basket?
Yes, that baby is... arguably, like, the most important figure in World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, because I didn't know. I was just like, what the fuck is this?
Well, and it's like, I understand the idea where it's like, no, you gotta start at this event and just tell this story, but no, you don't. It's a bad idea to tell a story of this event. Like, it's too many characters, too much stuff going on. There's plenty of stories in, like, World of Warcraft that you could do on a smaller scale. And also, people that are going to see a Warcraft movie, at least me... I don't really give a shit about the orcs or the humans. I want to see everyone else. Show me some trolls. Show me some Tauren. Show me some goblins. Show me some gnomes.
Yeah.
Show me some night elves. Show me some blood elves.
I would have been down for anything had it been well executed.
I think the best part of the movie is they ride over a bridge at one point and there's a merfolk and they just play a sound cue from the game and they just go... It was remember. 2 seconds long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just... I think Warcraft is a multimedia conglomerate thing that has a good chunk of pretty compelling lore to it. Mm-hmm. Which is funny because World of Warcraft, 90% of the players probably just skip through all the lore.
Yeah,
just
probably.
To play, which is fine. But I think there's some good writing and some good... I remember... when the Lich King stuff was happening, I remember the first time somebody finished that raid and we all saw the cut. It was sick. And the Lich King stuff's good. They should have just made a Lich King movie, probably.
Yeah. The thing about World of Warcraft, because I always wanted to get into it as a kid, but my parents were always like, no, and so I was like, okay, because I couldn't pay for it myself when I was 10. But you can't. The stuff of the past is the stuff of the past, right?
There's currently there's some workarounds, but in general the world is as it is. I don't know. I haven't played the last 2 expansions. Mm-hmm. I know there's a portal to go into an alternate version of the history. I think there's a specific dungeon where you go into the past, but in general, yes.
Okay, so I'd have to read a book or watch some movies or something. Yeah. But wow, that would be great if I had some movies to watch.
Honestly though, I'm just why wouldn't they just also Blizzard just feels like they're bad at money making, because if it were me, I'd be you should just make a shit ton of animated movies.
Yeah, no, that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
It's just fill up people in on the lore that they might be missing out on from all those previous years.
They don't really make books anymore. There's some World of Warcraft books, but not very many. But they used to make a shit ton, and that was smart.
Yeah.
It was a good start, because kids would read and be I want to play World of Warcraft now.
Yeah, because I get that stuff gets tricky, when you want to, manage a canon or whatever, but, if it's all stuff that happened in the fucking past that you can just, write about,
yeah.
Fucking... That makes it, way way but I don't know. I'll probably never get into the game at this point in my life.
Well, it's still... it's so weird, because MMOs, in general, are usually free to play now. Or you buy the game, and then or the game's free, and you can pay a subscription. But WoW is still a paid game with a paid subscription. It's that's insane.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised you still have such a high player count.
Yeah, it's solely brand recognition. Yeah. And, obviously, they got people who have been playing a long time who are going to be nested in there.
Yeah. But. Well, I feel every couple of years I'll buy 6 months of WoW and I'll play it. And I think WoW is, in general, a pretty good game. I think they make a lot of missteps. But it's so big that I get it. I get the people that only play WoW. I get the people that only play MMOs. Sure. Not for me. Because video games aren't really for me anymore. But yeah, this movie's just bad. It's really bad. And I think the orcs look pretty good when they're by themselves. When it's just orc scenes, I'm that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
When it's the orc fighting scene, in the ring, I'm that's cool. I like that scene a lot, actually.
Yeah, because it's just a really high quality video game cutscene or something.
Well, it's funny because they're Blizzard will just make super high quality cutscenes for trailers and stuff, and they look at this point probably better than this movie. But it's also funny because the humans are in that and they just look good because they look the same as everyone else. Whoa!
They did? Oh my god, what a novel concept.
Yeah. Terrible film. 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I didn't like this, and I imagine most of you probably wouldn't either, even if you like World of Warcraft. So, I don't know.
I was kind of hoping, maybe I'll like it. No. It was bad.
Yeah, I thought apparently this movie was shit on, but when this movie was coming out, I could have sworn everyone was fucking raving about this is how video game movies should be. And I was this is the best video game movie yet. And I was just maybe for the time period it came out, but I don't know. Maybe that was just something locally that people were saying, because...
No, I remember when it was coming out, I did have a lot of friends who were like, people are hating on it, but it was really good. Yeah. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't have thought so back then, and I certainly don't think so now.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to watch something really good next week, because we're watching Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam.
Yes.
I already told Thomas this because it is 50 episodes, so...
Yes.
I gave him a head start that he did not use.
No.
Yeah, so next time we're going to be doing Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, and then probably something fucking epic. So yeah, thank you all for watching another exciting episode of Screen Weens. Next week, you'll get another update on how my foot's feeling.
Yes.
Goodbye.